from branding and advertising to content ownership. In the previous sections, we focused on how you present yourself through advertising and branding, including the proper use of professional identifiers like Realtor R. Now we take the next step in marketing compliance, because it's not just what you say or how you identify yourself, but also what you use in your marketing that creates risk. One of the most overlooked legal issues in real estate advertising today involves photographs and digital content. In a world driven by online listings, social media, and visual marketing, images are powerful, but using the wrong image can expose you to serious legal liability. The power of photos in today's market. Modern real estate marketing is visual. High-quality photographs and videos are often the deciding factor in whether a property gets attention, showings, and ultimately offers. In many cases, buyers are making decisions based almost entirely on what they see online. It is not uncommon for out-of-state buyers to submit offers based largely on listing photos and virtual tours. Because of this, agents are under constant pressure to produce strong visual content quickly and consistently. However, this pressure often leads to shortcuts, and that is where legal problems begin. The common mistake: it's already online, so I can use it. A frequent and dangerous assumption in real estate marketing is that if a photo is already online or was used in a previous listing, it is free to use. This is incorrect. Photographs are protected by copyright law the moment they are created. This means the photographer, not the homeowner, not the agent, and not the MLS, typically owns the rights to the image unless there is a written agreement stating otherwise. There is no intent requirement for copyright infringement. This means you can violate the law even if you had no idea the image was protected. In other words, good intentions do not protect you. Compliance does. Real-world scenario, where agents get into trouble. Imagine this situation. A seller provides you with a flash drive or email containing professional photos from a previous listing. They tell you, feel free to use these. They look great. Without thinking twice, you upload the photos to the MLS and your marketing platforms. The property gets great exposure and everything seems to be going well. Then you receive a demand letter from a professional photographer claiming copyright infringement. At that moment, it becomes clear the seller did not own the rights to those photos. This is one of the most common and costly mistakes agents make. Legal consequences of copyright infringement. Copyright law carries significant financial risk. The owner of the photograph has the right to pursue damages, which can include compensation for actual losses or statutory damages. These damages can be substantial, often ranging from hundreds to tens of thousands of dollars per image. In some cases, they can be even higher depending on the severity of the violation. Additionally, the copyright holder may recover attorney's fees and legal costs. This means a single mistake involving multiple photos can quickly turn into a serious financial problem. The key takeaway is simple: using the wrong image can cost far more than hiring a photographer. Case law and industry impact. This issue has been reinforced by major court decisions involving real estate and listing services. Courts have consistently upheld the rights of photographers and content owners, even when images are part of larger databases or listing systems. For real estate professionals, this means that access does not equal ownership. Just because a photo appears in an MLS or online platform does not mean you have the right to reuse it. This is especially important in Arizona, where federal court rulings within the applicable jurisdiction reinforce these protections. MLS rules and brokerage responsibility. Each MLS has its own rules regarding the use, ownership, and distribution of photographs. These rules often outline who owns the content, how it can be used, and what happens when listings expire. At the same time, brokers are responsible for supervising marketing activities, including how images are used in listings and advertising. This ties directly back to earlier discussions on broker supervision and advertising compliance. If a licensee improperly uses copyrighted images, the issue does not stop with the agent. It can extend to the brokerage. Best practices for 2026 compliance. The safest approach is simple. Never use a photograph unless you know exactly who owns it and you have written permission to use it. Written agreements are critical. Verbal permission is not sufficient when it comes to copyright protection. If there is any doubt about the origin of a photo, do not use it. Instead, take your own photos or hire a professional with a clear usage agreement. In today's environment, saving time or money up front is not worth the potential legal exposure later. Bringing it all together. This section builds directly on what we learned about advertising and branding. First, we learned how to properly present ourselves. Then, we learned how to properly use professional identifiers. Now, we understand that the content we use must also comply with the law. Real estate marketing is not just about creativity, it is about responsibility. Every photo, every post, and every listing must meet legal standards. The most successful agents understand that compliance is not an obstacle, it is part of professional excellence. Online discussion. Question: why is using photos from a previous listing or the internet risky for real estate agents? Answer: because the agent may not have the legal right to use those images, and using them without permission can result in copyright infringement and financial liability. Question: why doesn't it matter if an agent did not intend to violate copyright law? Answer: copyright law does not require intent, meaning an agent can still be held liable even if the violation was unintentional. Question: how does this topic connect to advertising compliance? Answer: advertising is not just about what you say, it also includes the images you use. Improper use of photos can create the same level of legal risk as misleading advertising.